notice that I'm able to talk extremely quietly to you from this lower helm position, and that is the most remarkable thing that we found about driving the boat. We've been out for an hour or so. It's just so quiet. Part of the reason is that you're a very long way forward at this helm position, which is nice because it's quiet, but it also means that you really feel like you're in the action. You're nice and close to the windscreen, very close to the bow, really great view. So this boat is fitted with the largest engine options. It's the MAN 1400s. We've managed to get 35 knots flat out in our speed trials earlier on, which is, when you think about the size of this boat, its heft, being able to do 35 knots is pretty remarkable, and it means that you can cruise at 28, 30 knots, which is great. And it also means that when you do throttle back to, say, 20 knots, it feels like you're going backwards. It's so slow, so laid back, and obviously far better for fuel economy. But it's really nice to have that very broad cruising range that you have with engines of this size. It also has beautifully light, very agile steering, really lovely and smooth, very balanced, really doesn't feel as big as the boat is. And the helm position here as well is very nice as well. I mean, the only real downside I can see is these screens are a bit far away for you to reach, but I really like this digital instrumentation here. It's the first time I've seen it. It's a new system that Princess are using, and it looks absolutely fabulous, quite automotive, but really clear and very smart looking. And of course you still have your chart table area, and you have an area to put your phone and your sunglasses and stuff there. It's just very classy and very nicely done. On our photo shoot earlier, I really enjoyed driving the boat from up here at the upper helm. The main reason for that is because the driving position is so good. Princess are really good at this, even on their bigger boats. You can get yourself, thanks to adjustable chair, nice and close to the steering wheel, which then is obviously right on your lap, just where you want it. Very short reach to the throttles. The other thing is that these screens are a little bit closer to you than they are downstairs, so it is easier to interact with them. And you've got your navigator here, who, although they're inside you, can still get out easily because there's a nice gap between the helm seats, and they've got a little space here to put VHF, etc, etc. All in all, ergonomically, it's a really well sorted helm. One point to note about the vast flybridge on this 68, this particular boat is going to the United States, where they like to have their tender kept up here on the flybridge, so you have this quite obstructive crane in the way. Obviously a high-low platform is an option, and I think most people will probably keep the tender on there and then have this space open or with a sun pad. Just a point to note while we're back here, a few of you watching may have noticed it looks pretty precarious standing here, but there are railings that slot in around this whole section here to stop you feeling quite so vulnerable when you're standing back here. If you're keen on seeing a bit more about the interior of this boat, then be sure to check out our video from Southampton on nby.com or on YouTube. For now though, we're going to look at some of the more nitty-gritty stuff, including the fantastic engine room, so let's go down and have a look. This boat uses traditional shaft drives, and that means that you do get a lazarette, which is a very nice touch, and somewhere where you can store a lot of stuff, even despite the fact you have the generator here. You've got the cording system for the shore power lines, but it is good to have this space. What would be quite a nice addition is, because you drop fenders and things down here, obviously it's a very long way down. If Princess installed a bar up here, and we could tie the tails of the fenders, I mean, you don't have to stretch all the way down. But one thing to also note, every single crevice, corner is layered in really good sound insulation, and that continues inside the engine room itself. You come in here and you see the size of these 1400 horsepower MAN V12, you can see why they need to be quite so liberal with this stuff. The installation in general is absolutely superb. They have lovely touches as well, like there's a fresh water system down here with a hose so you can swill out the bilges, fuel transfer system so you can switch across the tanks. I mean, it really is beautifully executed, and everything is really accessible. Bit difficult to get to these side of the engines, but as for every other part, really pretty easy, and in general a very nicely done engine installation. Princess has sometimes been accused of not moving the game on all that much with its new flybridge boats. They're very traditional looking and can sometimes be a little bit too sensible, but you cannot accuse the 68 of that. The layout inside, the fantastic open plan saloon with the views out, and then there's when you get it out to sea and you realise that you can cruise at 30 knots and it's very quiet and very comfortable. It really is a fearsomely capable all-rounder.